So at the end of last episode, we got ourselves a little bit in a pickle. Don't know if you remember, but I still remember. And let's see if this episode here is going to be Yanni plays the last 100 days before we go bankrupt, or are we getting through that again? If you don't remember, we waited harvesting our very first vineyard here as long as possible so that we can have a high sugar count, so that we can go to a high body. And up here you can see we are the last day of fall and it is raining. And we cannot harvest in the rain. So when we go to the next day and it's going to be winter, can we harvest, or is everything gone and this episode just comes into a let's try to survive with our $49,000 until next season? Even if we could harvest, we still could not harvest because it rains again. So I guess this episode here, instead of trying to unlock a lot of technologies, let's see if we can survive. Good thing is our monthly expenses are very low since we haven't upgraded a lot of things. Let's take a quick look into our wine cellar. Yeah, we have 2,800 bottles left, so we still have enough to sell. But if next year, or well this year, since it's already 2027, if this year we are going to have issues with like heat wave or wildfire or something like that, then that potentially can give us some issues. And of course, since we bought our second vineyard, I really wanted to extend the board that we have a little bit more room to work with. But that most definitely is not going to happen this time. But hopefully at the end of this episode we can complete 2 more of our special orders. This person here wants a white wine with a 65 quality, and I think 65 is something that we should be able to get on our is it a Cabernet or a, I forgot what it is. Haven't played in a week and I forgot what it is. It's a cab, yeah, Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc. And yeah, I think 65 is something we should get. 70. And I have the feeling we're going to end up with 69 again as the last few years that we had, but let's try our best. Well, so far our money situation looks good. But yeah, the board upgrade is 20,000. We just have to wait on that. Would have something processing here on the field right now. I would say let's go ahead and get that done. And our oak wheel is ready for harvest. So that means in our next turn, as we have the space for it, we will go ahead and get that harvested. And then our Coombsville, we will wait again until the middle of the fall. This time we're not going to wait all the way till to the end, because this time we actually need to harvest something. Gonna be 3 turns to harvest that. See what we have. We already have a pretty good amount of sugar in it. Acidity started to go down. Now if we look into our special orders, see that this person here wants our Sauvignon Blanc with no aging and at least 4 sweetness. And this person here wants a low body. So We're not going to age that so we can get the low body. Now the sweetness of 4. We may not be able to do that because I think the fermentation is going to reduce sweetness 3. Is the sugar still rising on this one? No, the sugar currently is not rising, and I'm not going to risk it after just having all those issues. So we're going to harvest this turn. And of course we're gonna have another heat wave. We just had one last season. So just the average quality. Now I'm not sure if it is pushed down because of the heat wave, or if it is just because it is our first harvest on this vineyard here. Let's go and put that in a tank. And from the quantity, we're doing pretty good. So if we go over to the hectoliters and what we did last season, that will be about 100 hectoliters. We're almost filling one of the fiberglass tanks. So we're in the 1st of autumn. Crushing is going to take 2 turns. So that means the 3rd of autumn we are done with crushing and we can harvest. That gives us 3rd, 4th and 5th. And now we can start harvesting. And since now we have 80,000 in the bank, let's get the board upgrade. Even though I think... No, we actually can do pressing and harvesting at the same time now. Now we are trying to stay low in the body. Let's stay low in the tannin. We just reduce the intensity a little bit. So let's look into fermentation. Yes. You can see short fermentation is taking off a lot of sweetness. It actually takes off 4 sweetness, not just 3. So the sweetness is going to be too low for that special order. Also interesting is that the Oakville native yeast that we have has an extreme alcohol resistance, and we get a peach flavor potentially. So this one here will be a good one for, well, that's still several episodes down the road, but one day when we get the yeast lab, that will be a good one to start playing around with. Let's ferment that for 2 turns. Of course, since it is a white wine, we cannot do the punch down or the pump over, because we don't have any tannins to extract because there is no skin. And we are pretty much out of our 2025 wine. That means now we are going to lose money every turn. And we have another one ready to harvest. Good quality. And we forgot to buy the other tank. And they know about this bug here that you cannot go out. And they're planning to fix that. They're planning to work on that you can go out, because we cannot put it in a tank. So we have to sell it. So before we do anything else, let's go and buy the second tank. So we said we're not going to age it. We are going straight into bottling. So let's create a new bottle. Let's go with a screw cap for now. Go with the green color. And do we want to edit the label? Since we never really played around in a label making, let's go through it. So if you're interested in buying the game, we actually see what are all the different things that you can do. So you can pick your logo. You can see from different flowers, different animals, leaves, feathers and birds, and castles, different shapes, back to more animals, but those are just the animal heads. Well, some of them. Yeah, there are a lot of different logos. Let's just pick a different one for this. Go with one of the birds, I think. Let's do the owl, okay? Let's pick an owl and a lot of different colors. Go with this dark purple maybe. Yeah, that looks good. Then you also can change the size of the animal or the shape that you put on. And then background. You have a lot of different shapes for the background that you can use. Go with something different since it is a white one. And how about we go with... Oh, let's go with yellow, but that's a bright yellow. Maybe this one. And then the labeling part is what we haven't unlocked yet. We unlocked that towards the end of the last season that we had, where we can change the paper. Let's go with this owl here. And also the label shape itself we can change up. And that is something that doesn't change anything on the bottling price. The bottling price is staying exactly the same. 7,000 bottles, $9,000 or euros, probably about 4 turns. Let's see, 3 turns. And since we have availability, let's put the treatments on our vineyards to protect them. I'm trying to stay ahead of it this season, not like last season where we constantly had issues. Lots of work came in, and one of them, the tasting, is what I'm really excited about. So let's see if we can get as many tiles in here as possible. Most of them in, not all of them. $65. But we got our tannin and we got our peach flavor. But that is great. We got 7,000 bottles and I guess somewhere around 12 euros. 14. Almost 15. So that is... those are some good news. But let's take a look into our journal. You see where we are at. Body and sweetness, we're not that far off. Same with the acidity. So I guess we're trying in our next year. That probably is going to be our next episode anyways, but we're trying to stay with the low body and get it a little bit sweeter because of a special order. Yeah, sweetness minimum 4. So let's see if we can go with a 4. Maybe that's where the star is. But this one here we can sell. Gonna give us a quick 2,300 euros. Then of course next turn we're going to have the regular orders rolling in again. And we got our next special order in. And that will be a red wine with a 70 quality. So we should be able to hit that if in our next go around we don't miss out on our fiberglass tank again. But that means we survived another season and we even end up with 10,000 more than what we started this episode with. So if you want, we can continue next Friday again with another episode of 100 Days Winemaking. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope I see you next Friday. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.